Hi, I'm Sandra, and you are watching J.Cotto's Fight Page. Hashtag come back to boxing.
Knockout shot. That is the most spectacular one-punch shot of Manny Pacquiao's career.
Saying it, you may hear him. Down goes Frazier! Down goes Frazier!
Guys, there's nothing like boxing, and there are no athletes like fighters.
Struggling to get to his feet. Incredible defense, unbelievable. Evans back, takes another right. Burns in deep trouble again. Burns is down. Burns is down.
You know, you dream of fights like this, but the man Santa really live up to this. It's over.
What's up, fight fans? I'm J.Cotto, and welcome to J.Cotto's Fight Page. And, well, this topic has been going around the Y.T.B.C today, well, yesterday. And I just basically had time to listen in and heard everybody chime in on it. And I basically want to chime in on it too. Now, I just have to say, for those fight fans that are listening in, if you're a Canelo fan, just hear me out before you even stop this video, simply because there's more to it. You know, I'm an unbiased guy, so let's just get into it. You know what I mean? Well, the same day weigh-ins, it beats the whole catch weight agenda, as well as eliminates drainage and PED use. Okay? Hydration clause, dehydration clauses, all eliminated. And it would end an era of all the cheating, dishonesty, as well as serious in-ring deaths and injury. You know, size advantages are for cheaters, those that need help. Okay, there are a lot of fighters in weight classes these days that don't belong in certain weight classes. I mean, let's be real about it. Money blankets almost every rule and guideline to safety in the sport, as well as the competitiveness. You know, Dooku Kim, of course, if you guys know the Mancini fight, and many others have died in the sport, some from blows, some have received serious injury. Should the government take over in the sport and oversee this ongoing topic? But yet there are other topics, not just this one. The sanctioning bodies need to be a bit more responsible, and they need to enforce these rules of theirs. There should be a legal body that oversees these promoters, managers, and testing agencies, sort of like a internal affairs type community. More finer though. You know, and they should also hand out penalties and fines like the ones they give to fighters who don't make the weight, and the ones who don't pay to hold the belts, the straps. And well, for safety, bring back the same day weigh-ins. We don't want to know what they drive, what they live in, what type of jet they have under their asses. We want to know how heavy the fighters are fight night. Okay, enough of these mismatches, man. To agree on what's been going on as to Manny Pacquiao fighting against Canelo, and especially if it would be with the same fuckery and rules Canelo has, it's a huge mismatch. A huge one. But on the same day weigh-in, it would be a fair, even, and safe match. You know, it's more to the same day weigh-ins, okay? The problem in the sport is basically problems. Okay? And the problem is, one of the problem is, you know, the sport. It's just full of a lot of things, and people tend to complain about, you know, proper weight classes. Well, proper weight classes are what the sport is all about. I mean, got a bantam division, lightweight division, welter, so on and so forth. A 160-pound weight class is a 160-pound weight class. It's a division, a middleweight division. This doesn't only go towards Canelo Alvarez. It goes to those in this era as well. Some fighters fought at catchweights because fighters in their weight classes didn't want to fight in some cases. In other cases, some moved up in weight to avoid fighters. A lot of you guys were complaining about shit like that when things were happening, so let's be real about it. What needs to go to use, okay? And what needs to go, actually, not even to use. What needs to go to use is a garbage can. Definitely. And what needs to go, okay? What needs to go, fight fans, uploaders of the Y.T.B.C, what needs to go is the politics, the pay-per-view numbers, and what needs to come back is enforcement of rules and keeping tradition within the sport. Am I wrong? Make fights based off rankings, not voluntary, or what the guys in the suits think would sell. You know? As well, fighters need to fight mandatories. They need to speak up. They need to start going for unifications. Now, let's talk big money fights. Money fights. But no money if you don't fight. To agree to have fighters have a catch weight before a fight and then come in hydrated the next day is more death waiting to happen, man, or more injury. Serious injury, that is. If you think it's about Canelo Alvarez, well, you're 25% correct. And I say this because, remember now, let's go back to the Khan fight. When he KO'd Khan, he was scared. He and the W.B.C. commission looked at the videotape. Okay? Just look at the videotape. He and the W.B.C. commissioner, and Oscar De La Hoya and all of them, they were like, holy shit, like, I like Canelo. I have a list of videos rooting for him when he was fighting. But this is dangerous. Okay? This is a dangerous game. This is why same-day weigh-ins should be brought back, along with the following: the ranking systems and the judges. Okay? They need to get a refresher course in scoring a fight as well. Rematch clauses should be overlooked. Okay? They should be looked at by an agency or something to make sure that these rematch clauses are granted. So that way there can be more war and more, you feel what I'm saying? You see where this goes? A refresher course in scoring a fight for the judges. Rematch clauses should be, looked at carefully. A boxing medical union should be made as well. Okay? As well as the Ali Act should be enforced. Okay? It should be enforced by the overseeing agency if they make one. The refs have been doing their jobs ever since several fighters between mid-2015 to now, May 6th or before, have been seriously injured. And stopping fights when fighters are in serious trouble. Some premature, like some felt several matches were stopped prematurely. For example, the Jacobs and Quillen match, Another problem is a sanctioning body allowing a fighter to have advantages because he pays to keep the straps. The enforcement should not come when it's convenient to them. I mean, at the correct time, that's when it need be enforced. Okay? A long-range shot can be predicted and can be stopped by the ref. But mismatches because of favoritism, hate for a fighter, or wanting a fight to fill in that blank for your fighter to have a match, it's very dangerous and double standard in thinking. I have spoken about this way before certain channels. For I am a movement, okay? A voice to the fans and to the boxers that feel and face and want to speak on the injustices of the sport. One thing may not change the sport and make it better, but bringing back the rules and regulations and leaving what does not need to be fixed alone, well, the times have changed, but does it mean that rules and regulations should? Ever wonder why the MLB, NBA, NFL, NHL, etc. have a good system? It has nothing to do with the guys in the suits. The fans don't stay shut. They protest. When players don't get what they want, they do lockouts. Maybe we need to do a lockout, but by the fans and the fighters not getting their fair shake. Listen, guys, there was a Pacquiao agenda, a Mayweather agenda, now a supposed Gennady Golovkin agenda, and the Canelo Alvarez agenda. But remember, before them, the greats, the ones that paved the way, had to face adversities and agendas as well. But even a little more critical. Today it's all about money and who makes what fighters look good. Styles make fights, but the fighters have to weigh the same. Divisions. That's why they're made. Making weight and coming in the same weight that the fight is made makes a lot of sense. If a fight is at 147 and we are training for a fight at 147, why is it that the next day, the actual event, the fight, we're fighting at a walk-around weight? It's dangerous. These are boxing topics, not arguments. The ones that should be talked about, agree or disagree, it still is healthy for the sport. Now, guys, imagine if Canelo fights Kovalev. Some say it's fair, but with these weigh-in rules, Kovalev on fight night would be like 185 to at least 192 and a half, at least. Canelo would be at least 172 to maybe 170. I give it 78, the most. It's dangerous. But with same day weigh-ins, Kovalev stays at 175 and Canelo could be at 175, 174 and a half, let's just say. On fight night, that's what is meant. No shorts, no problems. Or you could do it the other way around and avoid all that catch weight shit and work your way up the weight division in years of your career. Fight fans, somebody is going to get seriously hurt or killed again. And it's not only Canelo. It's not only the same day weigh-ins that will change the sport. It's all that I have mentioned. It's not because I've mentioned it or because I want props. It's because these are all the problems at hand. Some of us fight fans, we're real and we know that the veil is being lifted. We are starting, and some are starting to see things. And some will not like it because they are biased. But eventually, the truth unveils every hidden lie by exposure. Canelo did not drain Khan, and Khan only moved up, 8 pounds? But his walk-around weight is at least 151 to maybe 153. He is a junior welterweight and can be a middleweight, but the hydration, that's the dangerous part on the behalf of the heavier fighter. Catchweights were meant for the small guy to move up and meet the bigger guy, as the bigger guy moves down to meet at a weight where they're both comfortable. And they're doing that to fight for us. Now, in the history of us observing these catchweights, some made the weight and looked like hunger victims, and some didn't, paying fines the size of mortgage payments and car notes added all together. But then, back then, it was done right. Maybe all of this high-tech training isn't really for some in this sport. Evander Holyfield was known to train with futuristic equipment, and I'm sure you guys remember that. So it's all about the fighter, what they want out of the sport, and which should be legacy first, then along with that, the money comes. But they should have proper management in which will get you your money and what you are worth, and the fights that you want, that are competitive. But one must always remember to set feats and try to break the records of the greats. Dare to be great and unify and move up. And if you're going to do catchweights, do the same day weigh-ins. It would also silence the critics, and the display would defend the whole same day weigh-in theory or rule. Among other political problems, they have to regulate themselves. But the problem begins with the promoters not working with other promoters to make the fights that make sense, which are the fights that we want. We can complain, point out the obvious, but the obvious has more components. The remedy is an agency that observes these sanctioning bodies, and the government needs to hire retired boxers, referees, and judges to take a look at these occurring problems. The agency. That's the answer, fellas. Peace to y'all, and let's keep it clean, man. Hashtag come back to boxing. Peace to everybody in the Y.T.B.C. God bless, stay vigilant. Thanks for joining my fight page. Have a good night.